Hi everyone, I'm Georgia Barnwell, and this is a short presentation called Tapping Essentials for Stress Relief. I want you to learn in this very short time we're going to be together how you can turn off your stress response. You can help yourself and your family in just a few minutes. So what are we going to do? I'm going to tell you a little bit about EFT and tapping. You're going to get a chance to experience how it can help. And you can take home 3 tapping tools that you can use anytime. So what to expect? EFT is safe and it's powerful. So in our short time together, you might experience less stress, some relaxation, some clarity, or perhaps a new perspective on something you've been working with, and you might have some old memories come up. If you don't feel comfortable that old memories may pop up, I would suggest that you turn off the recording and seek help in your own community. And although EFT is safe and powerful, it is not a replacement for medical or mental health services. If you have concerns in these areas, please consult a medical practitioner. So, I want us to see how tapping is going to work for us just in our short time together. So I'd invite you to pick just a little issue that's causing you some annoyance or irritation. Nothing huge, something that might be a 3 or 4 out of 10 if you were going to rate the intensity of it. And it's important that you choose something small-ish because we don't need to start on the big things. We want you to learn how this works and experience how it can take down the irritation. Once you learn how to use it, you can use it on the bigger issues. So, think about something that happened, like my lawnmower broke down and the cat made a mess on the counter, or whatever, something 3 or 4 out of 10. Just write down your intensity, and just slide that paper off to the corner of your desk. And we'll see what happens with it when we go through the rest of the presentation. So, first of all, I want to invite you to tap with me, and we can get started and get some experience on it. So I'm going to show you how to tap and where, and then we can move on and I'll give you a little more information. So the first place is on the eyebrow, right where the hair starts, and I usually tap with a couple of fingers. You can tap with 1 or 2 fingers on one side. You can tap on both sides, maybe 5 to 10 times, whatever feels good for you. And then the second one is on the side of the eye, just at the bone. And the next one is underneath the eye, fairly high up, just, right where the glasses are. And then underneath the nose, in that little space between your lip and your chin. And then on just below your collarbone, you feel the points there. You can come down about 1 inch. You feel a little hollow. That's a great place to tap. And again, you can tap with both hands or one hand, or you can get them both with one hand, just like that. The next place is underneath your arm. So if you were to do the monkey tap, it would be maybe about 4 inches down from your armpit, or you can reach across, whatever is comfortable for you. I like the monkey tap myself. And then the next one's on the top of the head. And there's a lot of points on the top of the head, so you might want to go in a circle, or you might want to use the flat of your hand. I just invite you to see what feels best to you. And that, from here around to here, is called a round of tapping. And we can also tap on our hands. So if you don't want to be seen tapping, you can do this. Yeah, you can put your hands under the table, behind your back, in your pocket. So essentially, you can just squeeze either side of the fingernail. I like this one. The kids like the squishy too. It's quite relaxing. It has been shown to slow your heart rate, reduce your blood pressure, reduce your stress hormones, and it helps you breathe more deeply. The other way you could do it is just to tap right where the corner of the nail meets the back. So you can just tap down like that, or you could even tap one-handed. You can use your index finger to tap the side of your thumb, and then you can use your thumb to just tap down. So you can do this with your hand in your pocket, and you can tap, or you can just massage or kind of squeeze. They're all good ways of putting energy into those tapping points. And just for your information, the tapping points are actually the ends of various energy or acupuncture meridians that are well known in Chinese medicine. And they carry energy throughout the body. And the research is showing that the tapping is as effective for emotional issues as actually the acupuncture with needles. So this is called, in some cases, acupuncture without needles. And it is used specifically for things like emotions, disturbing thoughts, behaviors. And it's an amazing piece of work, and the research is really showing how effective it can be. So I just invite you to tap with me throughout this presentation, or squeeze your fingers and see what works best for you. So what is EFT anyway? It's a scientifically proven to quickly stop your body stress response. It's used by mental health practitioners, therapists, coaches, educators, parents, and anybody who wants to relax quickly and easily. It's gentle and easy to learn. It helps you manage stress right in the moment. You don't have to take your stress home and try to figure out how to deal with it. You feel stress, you can just start to tap, and it will start to bring it down immediately. So it's used for all kinds of issues, from depression, trauma, addictions, and chronic health issues, chronic pain. It can bring peace and calm to your busy day, and it can help change limiting beliefs and patterns that are holding you back. So it can really change the weather from cloudy to sunny just in a few minutes of tapping. So what we're going to learn today are 3 tools. The first one is really just tapping without words. And it has been shown to work very efficiently if you do it 5 or 10 minutes at a time. If you can do up to an hour a day of, little bits here and there, it will actually reduce your stress hormones. It will give you more relaxation, and you won't be as easily triggered by the daily annoyances that we all experience. And if you do have something going on that you're annoyed about, like, darn that lawnmower, I got half the lawn done and now it's broken and I don't know what I'm going to do, you can just tap and talk about how annoyed you are at that lawnmower. You have to fix it every time you use it, and I guess maybe it might be time to buy a new lawnmower. So tapping and talking helps us calm down, helps us think more clearly, and it kind of just gives us a chance to express all those words that go along with our annoyance. And then the finger tapping, of course, is very helpful if you want to have a little variety, if you want to have a little privacy. I find that I do the finger tapping or squeezing. I kind of rest my hands on the top of the steering wheel if, I'm driving, it's a relaxed drive, and I'll just squeeze them. Or if I'm watching something on Netflix or watching the news and it's disturbing, I will definitely either tap or squeeze my fingers. So you don't really have to have any particular set time to do it, but if you hook it in with other things that you do daily, then it will just it's easier to make a habit of it. So I usually do it certainly when I'm waiting for the coffee to boil, sitting at a stoplight, waiting for the download, just tap. Sometimes I will just tap a little bit before I lay down to go to sleep, and I find I have a better sleep. Or if I wake up early in the morning, it's too early, maybe it's even the middle of the night, I don't usually tap because that can be a little bit activating, but I will lie and squeeze my fingers. And I find that puts me right back to sleep very easily. So I want you to just, if it feels good for you, just continue tapping. And I'll tell you a little bit about tapping and EFT and how they're different. You might hear the EFT and tapping used kind of interchangeably, but the way I work with it, I kind of use it in stages. I start with the tapping without words because it releases stress and anxiety. It calms your nervous system. And as I said, we tap on the face, the upper body, or the fingers, or both. This really helps to keep us calm and feel safe. And when we add words to it, we're actually using the emotional freedom techniques because it's for more complicated situations. It can be done with a coach or therapist. You can learn how to do it yourself, but better to learn from someone who really knows how to use it first. What happens with the words is that they target areas of the brain that are disturbed by what's coming up for you in the moment. And the actual tapping changes the way your brain deals with it and moves you into a perspective where you can see what once might have seemed like an insurmountable obstacle. The tapping will actually bring you, new perspectives on, oh, maybe I can actually do this to solve the problem. So it helps us free us from being stuck in a problem that we can't solve, which is really useful these days because we're all facing a lot of stress and a lot of things that are kind of weighing us down. So I'd invite you to keep tapping. I just want to give you a really short bit of information on why tapping works and what happens in our nervous systems. So on the right, you'll see there's a kind of a diagram that shows what we call our window of tolerance. And that window, of course, is where we feel like everything's okay. We're present, we're calm, we feel safe. We can think and respond. If we have a problem, we can figure out how to solve it. And we're engaged, we're alert. We're present with our friends and family. We're resting well, we're digesting our food, and everything is going along very well. But when we're suddenly stressed, we go into what's called fight or flight. And that's the hyper arousal state at the top. So we get emotional, we react, we may even have sweaty palms. Our heartbeat may go up, our breathing may get shallow and rapid. We might have difficulty concentrating, and we might be almost in a panic or a rage. We might be looking around to see what's going on here. Am I safe? And that is fight or flight. What happens is that the blood goes away from our brain and into our arms and legs so that we can fight or flee. And this is a very useful state. We need this state. If we need to react strongly, we need to yank our kid back from going onto the road in front of a car. We need to catch something that we're going to drop. We need to protect ourselves from a saber-toothed tiger. Those are all important things that we can do, and we're wired for survival, and that's why our nervous system acts that way. But the problem is we get stressed and there aren't tigers chasing us. It's just a load of responsibilities and irritations that are coming up throughout our day. And when we don't process that, then we end up in chronic stress, which is really bad for us because it causes inflammation and disease. And we're just really not in a position to live our lives in a peaceful sense. So if we're carrying chronic stress, we start to push stuff down into the hypoarousal state, also cause the freeze state. So when we've had just too many responsibilities and too much stuff to get a hold of, we put it into a freeze. And we're going to be kind of numb and have low energy. We're not really going to know what we're feeling. We don't want to move too much. We might want to just Netflix and forget about it. We might want to eat. We might want to drink or smoke. We might want to do anything just to numb out and not feel what's bothering us. So between those two states, the hyper state and the hypo state, is where we want to be. That's our window of tolerance. When we get too far up in hyper or too far down in the hypo, we're not present and we're experiencing a lot of stress and negative impacts on our health. What they found is that tapping regularly strengthens and widens our window of tolerance so that we don't have, you know, the ups and downs that many people experience when they get triggered. Sure, daily life has its up and downs, but you can get through it a little more smoothly if you're regulating with the tapping. And that is essentially how it works. And does it really work? Well, there's been a lot of research, over 100 clinical studies that show that it reduces cortisol, which is the body's main stress hormone. It will reduce it on average of 37% after an hour of tapping. Immune system markers go way up, which is great. Pain comes down. Anxiety, depression, PTSD symptoms are all reduced. Blood pressure goes down. Happiness goes up, which is great. And look at that, food cravings down 74%. This tapping really works when we're trying to change our habits around food or drinking or other things that we'd rather not do. So this really works, and there's more and more research being done all the time to show how it changes the actual neural networks in the brain so that it strengthens the change that we want to make. So who could ask for more? Okay, so I want you to go back and think about that issue, that was annoying you earlier. You know, the lawnmower is broken or whatever. Just check back on that after these few minutes of tapping. How's the intensity now? Has it gone down? Did it go up? If it went up, it probably means that you're just connecting more deeply to it. And I would just say, just continue tapping every now and then throughout the rest of the day. When you think about it, just do a little tapping and see where that takes you. Did you have any new ideas about the issue? Like, gee, I bet my neighbor can fix that lawnmower for me. I'm going to call him right now, and that'll be the end of the trouble. We get new perspectives, and just a little bit of tapping can take the load off your back. Anne, thanks for coming. This has been a really short introduction. I hope that you can use the tapping tools. And if you're interested in learning more, I am very happy to connect and talk with you anytime you have some questions. The work that I do with Conscious EFT is trauma-informed, and it's built on the premise that we need first to establish safety in our own nervous system and the capacity to regulate before we start to look at the things that are holding us back. So if you want to talk to me about one-on-one coaching, how you can join a program to reset your resilience and learn more deeply how tapping works, that would be great. Give me a shout. And I'm also doing a new Tap Into a New Relationship with Food workshop that helps us really take apart what is it that we're really craving when we want to eat that chocolate bar. So definitely taking advantage of the tapping and its impact on reducing food cravings. And when we can reduce those cravings, we can see what's really underneath it and how can we meet those needs without eating the chocolate bar. So that's just a very short intro on how I work with Conscious EFT, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you have. Thanks so much for coming, and keep tapping. Have the best day ever. Bye now.